Welcome back, Guardians. Today we're gonna cover yet another weapon, and since the 600 RPM auto rifles have gotten a slight nerf, I thought this was a good time to talk about the 720 RPM archetype, specifically a weapon that I've been using a lot recently, and this being the Reckless Oracle. So the Reckless Oracle comes with a rapid fire frame. That means it has a deeper ammo reserve and it reloads slightly faster when the magazine is empty. This tells us two things. It's gonna have a lot of bullets in each magazine, and reload speed, if you play according to its rules, will be a lot faster. So with this in mind, we don't really have to focus on reload for the weapon. Rather, we can focus on getting it more stable at farther ranges, and therefore, as with most weapons I recommend, it's gonna be all about the range and stability. So before we even check out what perks we're gonna focus on, let's look at the weapon stats. So the impact is fairly low considering it's a 720 RPM auto rifle, therefore the impact is only 18. The range is also fairly low at 33, stability is fairly high at 60, handling 48, and reload speed 60. Each magazine can also hold 51 rounds. And what this means is you're going to be able to fire a lot before having to reload. And that's also what makes this gun so good, is the fact that it feels like a machine gun almost, because there are so many bullets in each magazine. And with all of this being said and done, let's take a look at the perks. What do you want with this gun? Well, this gun actually has really good perks for both PvE and PvP. So let's start with the PvE side of things. To begin with, I would definitely recommend something that gives you both range and stability. Stability because it still has kind of a kick on PC, and I can only imagine it being worse on consoles, and the range is fairly low. So I would definitely for PvE recommend small bore here, since it gives you more range and more stability. For the second tier, I would definitely go with ricochet rounds, considering it also gives you more range and more stability, while also being able to bounce off hard surfaces. And considering the third tier doesn't really have that many great perks, I would highly recommend Outlaw. Since Outlaw is getting a buff, this is gonna be the best third tier choice for PvE. The last tier is actually dealer's choice. If you like Kill Clip, well then go with Kill Clip. If you like Swashbuckler, then you know what? Go with Swashbuckler. But I am here to recommend you my favorite of these three, the Demolitionist perk. The Demolitionist perk is amazing. It gives you more grenades a lot more of the time, and it also reloads your weapon when you throw a grenade. And this might contradict using Outlaw, but all tier 3 perks for this weapon has something to do with reload, so this is going to be the best combination you can get either way. For PvP, I would highly recommend focusing on the same things, stability and range, and therefore I would still recommend small bore, since it's the combination that gives you the most stability and the most range of any of the barrels. As for the second tier, here, if you feel like you want more knockback, I would definitely go with high caliber rounds, otherwise I would go with ricochet rounds here as well. For the third tier, I would say that Mulligan is probably better than Outlaw, so I would go with Mulligan here, since you'll be firing a lot, and if you're missing, then you're potentially gonna get more rounds back into the magazine, so this is gonna be the go-to choice for the tier 3 perk. As for the last one, here I would definitely go with Kill Clip. Kill Clip in PvP slaps. Swashbuckler works, Demolitionist also works, but Kill Clip is definitely the way to go, since after a kill, you reload your gun and you're gonna deal so much more damage than compared to any other choice of the tier 4 perks. And finally, I would pray that my weapon comes with a range Masterwork. If it doesn't, however, then stability isn't that bad itself as well. As for the recoil is very jumpy on the horizontal axis, so that is why I really want more stability, because it reduces the recoil, it makes it easier to handle and more fun to use. And when it comes to enjoyment of this gun, it's really goddamn good. The 720 RPM archetype is gonna see a lot more usage with Beyond Light, considering that the 600 RPM archetype is getting nerfed. The damage is getting slightly reduced, meaning that 720s are probably gonna be the new go-to RPM for both PvE and PvP. And since the Reckless Oracle isn't getting sunset, this is a great gun. As for where you can get it, It's the same as the Ancient Gospel. It's a raid legendary from Garden of Salvation. Specifically, it's from the second encounter, the encounter where you're pushing towards battling the Consecrated Mind. So keep that in mind. If you want this weapon, you need to do Garden of Salvation. As for mods, well, for PvE, any of the mods that deals damage to adds, the minor, the major, the boss damage mods, they will do well. You can also use anti-barrier rounds for this if that mod is available, or you can use something to stabilize the gun even more, say counterbalance stock. For PvP, however, you want to focus specifically on getting the recoil as low as possible. Therefore, I would personally recommend either targeting adjuster, since it gives you more aim assist, or counterbalance stock to give it less recoil. And with that being said, I want to ask you guys a question. What do you think about the Reckless Oracle? Let me know in the comments down below. And as always, if you did enjoy the video, then liking it and subscribing to the channel is a great way to stay up to date on all the latest uploads. It's also a fantastic way to support the channel itself. And with that, I want to wish you the very best of your day. This is TCSpectre, signing off.